impressive.
Yeah.
Mike, what do you make of Jalen's camp? He's had, I don't know exactly what the numbers are. I saw somewhere
100.
13 interceptions, I think, and 15
He's got a boatload
practices.
of interceptions.
And it's like it's more than or as many as he had in the last 4 training camps combined. Now, let's be real here. All right, it's training camp. Does it really matter? I don't know. What do you make of the uptick? What do you make of Jalen in this new offense based on what you've heard so far? And any concern there, or maybe optimism if you feel differently?
Well, I look at it 2 ways, and I was talking about this with somebody the other day. Is he just saying in training camp, I'm just gonna let it go and just if I throw an interception, whatever, what's the difference, just to try to see, or is he legitimately having problems with getting this offense and mastering it right now? That there's the yin and the yang that you're not really sure about. Now you saw, the throw that he made to who was it last night? Was it Saquon?
Saquon. That was
you saw a little bit of vintage, right? Yeah. You saw a little bit of vintage Hurts there, where he throws that high ball into the end zone and gets it behind. I like the little play they ran to Lemon. That's probably the only play that Lemon was visible last night. But that little sneak out of the backfield is that a play that you're going to see them run a lot? But the pick 6 to Woolen, are those plays that you're going to see frequently, or is he just taking his shots now? It's hard to tell because we have no idea. Now, John, you probably see a little bit more of what the offense, what they do day to day, but us that don't get a chance to go to any of the practices or talk to these guys on a day-to-day basis. I thought I was watching the game Saturday night, and they were interviewing Lane Johnson, and they said, "What do you think of the new offense?" And he was like, I think he doesn't know what to think about what the offense looks like right now. Now, he hasn't been out there all that much either, but it's almost like I don't know what to say about this right now. Like we're all just kind of going through.
Well, he's largely been a big proponent of it.
Seems like his and what he was saying is there's a lot of this, there's a lot of that, there's a lot more going on. But it was almost like he's unsure if it's actually going to work or not. I like what the concepts are, but we'll see.
Yeah, well, I think that's where we all are with this offense.
To answer your question, Zan, I don't know what to make of Jalen Hurts here because he gives you so little. You never know whether he's like, man, I really like what we're doing. This is great. This is going to be a fun year, or you just get nothing from him. But the interceptions at this stage, is he just taking chances and doesn't care? Or is this legitimately giving him problems?
Yeah, well, I mean, these became a thing because of Elliott, and he deserves credit for it. So now everybody around the country has somebody who charts training camp stats. I've never put much stock into them, but when you start to think, this is a guy who once went through an entire training camp, so it's usually 17. Today's the day 17. It'll be the last one. It's usually 17, 18, somewhere in that range in the modern era. He once went through an entire training camp without throwing an interception. Now he's in double digits. That kind of scares me. Like if it's 5, who cares? 6, who cares?
Right.
There's been a lot of interceptions.
Right, but like in other words, did Mannion just say, throw it? Don't worry about the result. Just throw the ball to where we're telling you to. And if that's the case, that's a problem if he keeps throwing interceptions then.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and all interceptions, as you know, you got to look at each individual one. He had 2 last night. One, probably shouldn't have thrown the ball. It was a poor route by Lemon. Riq undercut it with his speed. And then just the pick 6 towards the end of the practice, that was just a bad throw. The flat out bad throw. Just it looked bad coming out of his hand. It was just there was no mustard on it, nothing. And that was easy pickings for Riq Woolen. So,
sometimes that's one of those situations in when it happens, Woolen is getting more of the attention because people are excited about him being the new guy getting the pick 6 than they're concerned about Hurts being the guy who threw the ball.
Well, yeah, they're
You're
always
looking at it the other way.
Yeah, they're always concerned about the quarterback. But I mean, the Eagles social media team knows that. They got in trouble for showing a Quignon interception in practice. What are you doing? What are you doing?
I was away last week, but that reached where everybody was the Eagles thing. I was like, geez.
Yeah. What'd you think of that? Because I'm like, what are we doing here? Who cares? They're showing a highlight of Quignon Mitchell. Who cares?
Right. I guess well, as you said, like if he's throwing double-digit picks and that becomes the story that he keeps throwing the picks. In the other instance where the other camp, he didn't throw any, and that's the only one that he throws one, and that's the one that you show. But now it's almost like that's all he keeps doing is throwing picks, and you're showing him throwing more picks. It's like everybody's dissected. It's like every year this happens. We yearn for the first preseason game. We're ready to go. And by the first snap of the first preseason game, we're ready for the regular season to start because now you're just like, but with this situation and this team, they almost need a fourth preseason game, even though they wouldn't play in it just to have more camp time.
Yeah. Well, certainly with some of the issues, I don't think the defense is the positive. I mean, they look ready to go, and they don't even have Grenard yet. That defensive front, Mike Gill, well, it could be special. If Grenard gets back healthy, you got three. If he's healthy, you have three high-level edge players and good depth. And inside, you have three high-level defensive tackles and depth.
Well, and I think it's going to be like on right now, Friday night. I don't know where the backup quarterback stands. McKee's obviously outplayed Dalton. You've got, I guess, receiver 4 or 5. Who's going to be there? Do they keep Brown because of the money? Cooper and Moore have probably outperformed him. I know Brown caught a touchdown, I think, last night. But on the defensive side of the ball, it's going to be interesting to see how they get this Weiroo and Bernard situation because both of them are international players, right?
Yeah.
But what are the options there?
Well, they're my thought is they're going to keep Uar because they already made that decision when they drafted him, and they'll keep him on the 53. And then you have to waive Weiroo, and you have an extra spot on the practice squad for the IPP exemption, and he'll get that as long as he clears waivers. I think he'll clear waivers pretty easily. I don't think anybody's guaranteeing a roster spot for a long-term developmental prospect, but people get hyped up over third-string snaps in preseason games. I don't think
it's not only that. I agree with the premise if it was just a guy from Middle Tennessee State. But it's like the fact that he's an international player and the Eagles have done this with Mailata and that they're looked at as like, ooh, they know something. It's like, we'll take them if you're the Browns or the Raiders or some lousy team that really doesn't have expectations that can afford to try to give that guy the roster spot.
Well, it's possible, but then I'll that's a gamble I'll take. I mean, they have to.